What's up, everyone? It's Bones here. With the new Fire King structure deck coming out this week, I figured I'd hook you all up on Ponics. But before I begin, if you're a fan of in-depth combo videos, new set coverage, and fun stuff that we occasionally like to do on the channel, then destroy those thumbs up and subscribe buttons. Now, for this first new card that we have here, it's a level 1 Fire-type winged beast called Legendary Fire King Ponics. It reads, if your monsters that was originally fire is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Fire King spell trap from your deck to your hand. During the next standby phase, after this card was destroyed and sent to the graveyard, add this card from your graveyard to the hand. You can only use each effect of Ponics once per turn, and this is a really nice card, just because of what it does for the archetype and the new support cards that we got to go with it. As we're going to normal summon it, use its effect, then get one of those new said support cards, Fire King Sanctuary. It's a continuous spell, kind of reminds me of the Libromancer continuous spell we got a while back. Because it tutors your field spell when this card is activated, you can place one Fire King Island from your deck face up in your field zone. Once per turn, if a card in your field zone would be destroyed by card effect, you can destroy one fire monster in your hand or face up field instead. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monsters, you can immediately after this effect resolves, exceed summon one fire exceed monster using Fire King monsters you control as material. You can only activate one sanctuary per turn. Now we're going to activate that sanctuary and we're going to be able to get our Fire King Island, and then we'll activate the Fire King Island's effect in order to pop the Ponics, and this will get us our next new card, the Sacred Fire Garunix. It's a level 8 fire winged beast monster that reads, if your monsters that was originally fire is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, if it was there when the monster was destroyed, or hand even if not. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can destroy one fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster in your hand, deck, or face-up field, except Sacred Fire King Garunix. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to half of the destroyed monster's attack it had there until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Sacred Fire King Garunix once per turn. Because it works kind of like Astrograph, where we got the destruction of the Ponics and then we add it to hand, we can special summon it out now, use its effect on field, which will give us the ability to destroy the Barang from deck, and then we can go onto our opponent's turn, which I know it kind of looks weird to end on nothing, only for you to go onto your opponent's standby phase, kind of play into thrust, then get yourself the Kirin, which is another new card, a level 8 fire-type monster that we searched off of the Barang during the standby phase, and during the main phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, special summon this card. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Fire King monster from your hand or graveyard, except Kirin, then destroy one card on the field. You can only use each effect of Kirin once per turn. So this is kind of like the Unchained level 6 fire red dog, and we're going to continue here by being able to use the effect of the Ponics in the graveyard to get itself back, then go onto the main phase, and at any point your opponent does something, in this case it's going to be summon the Mirror Swordsman, we're then going to use the Kirin, and then we can special summon it out, as then your opponent can use the Mirror Swordsman, or, well, in reality, what they would do is they would use the Mirror Swordsman first before you can even special summon out the Kirin so that they can play around all of this, but just for this example, we're waiting, and we're going to then use the effect of the Mirror Swordsman, get out the Baphomet, because at that point, you can then use the continuous spell here in order to get the quick exceed summon, go into your new Fire King rank 8, which is a fire pyro and takes 2+ level 8 monsters. If this card is exceed summoned, you can destroy all other monsters on the field. You can detach one material from this card, then target one spell trap on the field as a cost, destroy it. And if you do, this card gains 500 attack. If this card is destroyed while it has material, you can special summon Fire King monsters from your graveyard up to the number of materials this card had. You can only use each effect of Garunix Eternity once per turn. And this is just a really nice card overall because it makes that continuous spell quick exceed summon a board wipe, and that can just be very strong against some decks. As you'll see, we're going to get that pop here. And then the other cool thing is that you do have the follow-up of the next turn with the Ponics. Since you destroyed it, you can get it back on your own own standby phase and stuff like that. But now that you've seen the basis of the Fire King combo and really what you want to go for, I'm going to take you on to the next one where we'll be changing things up a little bit. As you saw in the previous combo, the Fire King Ponic happens to be a level 1 fire, and a level 1 fire's favorite friend here is the Diabell Star, which gets us the original Sinful Spoils. We'll use the Sinful Spoils in order to get ourselves the Snake Eyes Ash so that then we can use its effect, and this will give us the ability to get ourselves the Ponic. And now we can normal summon the Ponic, use its effect in order to get ourselves into the Sanctuary. Sanctuary will then get us into the Fire King Island, as then we can use the island, popping the Ponic, getting ourselves the Garunix, and then we'll be able to use the effect of Garunix in order to special summon it. We'll use the effect of Garunix on field in order to destroy the Barang, and then we can use the Ash in order to send itself and the Garunix to the graveyard. It doesn't matter if the Garunix is in the graveyard because it's easy to special summon it, especially with the follow-up that you have. But we'll then bring out the Oak, as we'll then be able to use the effect of Oak. And now you have 3 options here at this point in time. If you're going second, you can bring out the level 8 via the Oak's effect and then steal something that your opponent has, put it in your spell and trap zone. And then you also have the ability to make a link play. But then you have the third option, which is go into your Recital Starling, and this will actually just search you out a hand trap, or it can even get you another copy of Ponic if you're in need of it. In this case, I'm just going to grab the DD Crow, where we can then go onto our opponent's turn, go onto the standby phase, and now we'll have the same setup as before, except with a DD Crow in hand, where we're going to get our Ponic, the Kirin. We can then go onto the main phase, the point that your opponent does anything. We'll use the Kirin's effect, we'll pop the Ponic, as we'll then be able to bring back the Garunix after we pop the Ponic, and this is how you get your rank 8 access via the continuous spell. So at this point, we'll also get the destruction for the Arvada, as then you can use the Arvada to bring back the Barang, so that's just another 1800 attack that you have there that you can also destroy to get even more follow-up during the next standby phase. But then we're going to be able to get our quick synchro here, or our quick exceed summon, as we're going to go into the Garunix so that we can destroy all the monsters on field. Now for this next combo, I want to show off Fire King Sanctuary plus Barang, and just because this is one of the more unique combos in my opinion, where you're destroying something from hand, as you're normally normal summoning the Ponic or just getting out your Diabell Star and getting it that way, and stuff like that, but this is a little bit different where we're destroying the Barang. It's going to give us the ability to get that search, as we do send the Ponic off of the Garunix, and this is how you're going to be able to go on to your opponent's turn, and then have that standby phase main setup that the Fire Kings want, which is grab your Kirin, get back the Ponic, and then during the main phase, whenever your opponent does something, special out the Kirin, and then you have the ability to use the continuous spell to go into the Eternity Garunix. Now for this next combo, we have the first 3-card combo, and the other one is kind of going to be like a 2.5, but we're going to use the Fire King Sanctuary to start, I believe, as we're then going to get ourselves the Fire King Island, and then we're going to use the Fire King Island popping the Garunix so that we can get ourselves the Ponic. We'll then be able to special summon out the Ponic with its own effect as we pop the Garunix, then use the effect of the Ponic in order to get ourselves our next new card, and this is a quick play spell. It's called Fire King Sacred Immolation. It reads, target the same number of Fire King monsters you control and cards your opponent controls as a cost, destroy them. If a Fire King card you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use one Fire King Sacred Immolation effect per turn, and only once that turn. So we're going to continue here by using the effect of Kirin popping the Ponic, and this will give us the ability to bring back the Garunix, making it so that if you have to, you can go for a rank 8 here, or if you're going first, you can actually just set the continuous spell after using the effect of Garunix, of course, which we're going to send the Barang, and then on our opponent's turn, you would be able to search yourself the extra copy of Kirin, which would give you another level 8 that you can special summon for your quick play spell, so that you have 3 pops, and this also makes it so that you can go into your rank 8 with all 3 of your level 8s, and that just gives you a lot of destruction ability on your opponent's turns. Now, these next 2 combos are more ideas than things that you may want to play. Some builds may actually find the space for it. I just want to bring it up as an idea overall, really. But we're going to start here with the true King Agy, and we're going to pop our Garunix along with the Kirin, and this will bring us the ability of Kirin in order to bring back the Garunix, and then the Garunix can get its effect, which will send the Arvada, and then Arvada can then use its effect in the graveyard as we destroy it in order to get back to Kieran. Now we have the rank 8 access here where we can just go into Hope Harbinger or whatever. If you're even going for game, it's just the fact that you get the destruction effect with the Kieran. You also get the banish with the True King, and then just the total damage output even if you don't go into the rank 8, which can just steal you games. And even if you do go into the rank 8 just to get over something, then another cool thing is that you have the ability to go into Zeus as well. Now, for the penultimate combo, before I get into the test hand, and we have the True King again, this time with the Ponics, because I do want to show what you can do when you actually have access to it. So we're going to use the effect of Kieran to bring back the Ponics, use the Ponics to get our Sanctuary, and as you saw, it's a bunch of the same stuff that I've been showing previously, where we get the Fire King Island, then get ourselves the Garunix, as we'll be able to use the effect of Garunix, special summon itself out, use the effect in order to destroy the Arvada. The Arvada will then bring back the Kieran, and then we can go into the rank 8 if you would like to here. You can save it for your opponent's turn. I'm just going into it to go into it, but with this, I'll take you on to the test hand. So onto the test hand, and you'll see that we happen to open the Oak, which isn't terrible because we can still special summon it from our hand with the Diabellstar Quick Play in hand, and we also have the Sanctuary along with 2 going second cards. So I think that this is solid overall. Even if Crow isn't the strongest hand drop in the format, it's just something that's additionally there and that can be kind of annoying. But we're going to start here by pitching the Crow, and you'll see why we did that momentarily, as we can then use the Diabellstar to bring ourselves the original Sinful Spoils, and then we'll use the original Sinful Spoils, sending the Diabellstar to get ourselves the Oak or the Ash, and then we'll use the Ash in order to get ourselves the Ponic, and then we'll use the effect of Ponix as we normal summon it in order to get ourselves the Search for the Quick Play. We'll then be able to activate the Sanctuary, get ourselves the Fire King Island, use the Fire King Island to pop our Ponix, and we'll get ourselves the Garunix. We'll special summon out the Garunix, as we're then going to be able to use its on-field effect in order to destroy the Barang, and then we can use the Ash in order to send itself and the Garunix in order to special summon the Oak. We'll then be able to use the effect of Oak to bring back the Ash, and then we can go into our Recital Starling in order to search our Crow, and like that we replaced the Crow that we ended up pitching for the Diabellstar, which is kind of nice. But then we'll be able to use the effect of the wanted Quick Play as well, as we put back the original Sinful Spoils, draw into yet another hand trap, as we're then going to be able to set the Super Poly along with the Fire King Quick Play, go onto our opponent's turn, where we'll then be able to use the effect of Ponix. We also have the effect of the Barang, which will get us the Kieran, and at this point, the cool thing is that you can use the effect of Kieran, pop the Ponix, special summon the Kieran, Garunix will trigger because we pop Ponix, and then bring back the Garunix. Garunix can then send another monster or destroy another monster from deck, and then you also have the ability to quick exceed for that board wipe with the Fire King Sanctuary, along with the hand traps that we got searched and drawn during our own turn, as well as the set back row. With all of the combos out of the way, we can get onto the deck profile, and the first card that I want to go over here is the 2 Ponics, and in reality, you just have a lot of ways to get into it, which is why there's only 2. You'll also see that I play the 1-for-1 in order to get into it as well. The 2 Garunix, because you don't only want to play 1. Same thing with the Arvada. The Arvada has multiple uses where it can either be a monster negation or it can be that revival. So having that one to destroy from deck to the graveyard with Garunix, and then having that other one just to search can really be helpful. The Barang is something that I just choose to play because I like having the ability to 1-card combo with this. And then the Hanuman, which I want to go over momentarily because this is something that may cause problems down the line. You saw with the Astrograph ruling, you can special summon out the Garunix, and I haven't actually read this one, which I will now. If a face-up Fire King monsters you control is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. When a spell, trap card, or effect is activated while a monster is on the field, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face-up field. You can only use each effect of Hanuman once per turn. Now, what I wanted to talk about is what happens if Garunix is in the graveyard or even in the hand, and you happen to have the Hanuman in the hand, and you use Fire King Island in order to destroy your Ponics or whatever. Now, because Garunix happens to special summon from the hand or graveyard, you would not be able to special summon both at the same time, because both technically can be special summoned from the hand, and you can only use one of those types of effects once per chain. And I know that we saw this with Astrograph and Chronograph, and I think we also had a really old card. Oh my god, I forget the name of it. I think it had like a green background art, baboon. I don't remember the name of it, but it's been a long time, and it's just something that I really would like to reiterate because it's something that might come up with this deck more often than not, but it's still a good extender that you have the ability to get to. And I would also like to talk about Tenki because we're playing so many names, and this is something that you can technically do, and the only reason I don't is because I just don't think that you need it with the Dia Bellstar stuff, along with the Snake Eyes being able to get your Ponics and your setup so much easier and so much more consistently. This is something that you can technically play as well. And then there's Circle of the Fire Kings. This is something that I don't see getting much play, even though it does have some extension capabilities. I just think that having the access to the Fire King Sacred is more important because it gives you that extra piece of disruption where in a lot of turns you're ending on vanilla Fire King monsters that don't do anything unless you happen to get off the Sanctuary, which if we see stuff like Cosmic Cyclone start to enter the format could be a really easy answer to this, so that's just important to note. As for the 3 Kirin, I think the 3 Kirin is the one that you must play at 3. If you've seen how good the Fire Dog is in Unchained, it's almost the same thing here, except it's a level 8, it's also a beater, and with how easy it is to get your Garunix on board, the versatility that this card brings to the deck is just vital in my opinion. Then I want to talk about the 2 Fire King Sanctuary and the 2 Fire King Island, and I think that with how easy it is to search the Fire King Sanctuary via the Ponics, I don't think that you should max out on the 3 Sanctuary because of the 3 Fire King Island or 2 Fire King Island, whatever you want to play, but the point is that you just don't want to clog on all the consistency stuff, and you want to be able to play an abundance of going second cards, so that's what I kind of trimmed down in order to make for that space. As you see, we also have the Snake Eyes package where we have the 2 Ash, the 1 Oak along with the 1 level 8, and this is there for everything I showed on the video. The 2 Wanted along with the 1 Original and the 1 Dia Bellstar, and this is technically just playing 3 copies of a level 1 with the 1 copy of the Dia Bellstar, so it's just an extra deck slot that you can invest into the 1-for-1 for that consistency without having to overcommit to the Dia Bellstar stuff, so I kind of like that. And then as for the going second cards, this is interchangeable. Never take what I put into my deck list too seriously in regards to going second cards because they change all the time and viewers may come at different points of a format in order to watch these videos. Take the going second cards with a grain of salt. The only ones that I really would like to talk about are Droll and Lockbird along with Crow. The Crow is for the Recital Starling, even if it is kind of low impact. And then the Droll is just really good this format, but they're also level 1s, which is important for the synergy with the Snake Eyes stuff. And then you also have the Nibiru, which is good this format right now, but could definitely come in and out. And that brings me to Dark Hole. This is another cool little board breaker that you could play if you would like to, just because your Fire Kings get their effects upon destruction. Then you have the ability to board wipe and plus off of that, so I think that's kind of cool. And then the last new card that we have here is the Fire King Combined Strike. It's a trap card. Special summon 1 Fire Beast, 1 Fire Beast Warrior, and 1 Fire Winged Beast Monster, 1 each from your hand, deck, and/or graveyard, but negate their effects, and destroy them during the end phase. You can banish this card from your graveyard as a cost. This turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when your Fire King monsters is normal or special summoned. You can only use each effect of Solidarity once per turn, so this is kind of a cool card here, but it takes a lot of setup, and is part of the reason why I don't see it getting much play. I also would like to talk about the Snake Eyes Populace. This is something that will definitely see its way into the deck when this comes out. There's also stuff like Bonfire that you can play for stuff like this that's going to come out later on. So this deck will definitely get stronger as time goes on. Then I also would like to talk about other extra deck options. Prometheus is one card that's coming out. It's a Fire Link 3 that we saw for the Master Duel promo. That's a card to look out for with stuff like Hita. Then you'll see that I don't play the Masquerena, and it's for the Super Poly space. I also wanted to have the space for the Exceed monsters because it just kind of does come up. Then we also have the Amphibious Swarm Ship. This is something else that you can play. It's a Link 4 Fire along with the Prometheus Arceus when that comes out, the Celine, which is something that you can get into access code easily with the Hida. Then I would also like to talk about Kurikara being another option if you want to trim down on a Crow or something. This is a searchable level 1 fire that you can play. But outside of that, I don't have much else to say about the main deck and the options here, so just to brush up a little bit on the extra deck, these are your super poly targets. Then you have your link ones of 2 different attributes so that you can go into your Heat Soul, because that's kind of important, where you'll either be using the SP if you have to, or the Sunlight Wolf along with one of these. Then you have the Appaloosa and the access code, which are just good going first and going second link 4s. Then you have the Recital Starling for the Crows, along with the ability to have something else kind of end board. And I don't even think that a searchable Crow is that bad this format, because there's a lot of things that you can hit in regards to like purely quick plays. You also have the chain stuff that you can hit. They target their stuff in the graveyard via stuff like Yama. Even though it is low impact, it's just something that can still help you win if it's searchable, and especially adding on to your boards that you would have without it. And we have the Downward Magician for the Zeus, and along with the Recital Starling. We have the level 8 or the rank 8 Fire King, and then we have the Zeus and the Typhon, which are just great generic cards that you would want to play. The one thing I guess I would like to talk about is that if you don't want to play the Recital Starling, play another going second lineup and stuff like that, then you can just cut the Downward, you can cut the Zeus, leave yourself the rank 8 along with Typhon, maybe play a second copy of the rank 8 or another rank 8, and then you can just add extra things in the extra deck that you may want to play outside of that, like Goddess and Masquerena. But with all of that out of the way, I'll take you onto the card by card. So we have the 2 Garunics, we have the 2 Ponics, the 2 Arvada, the 1 Barang, the 1 Hanuman, the 1 Diabellstar, the 1 Sinful Spoils Original, the 2 Wanteds, the 2 Snake Eyes Ash, the 1 Snake Eyes Oak, the 1 Snake Eyes Flamber's Dragon, the 3 Super Polys, the 1 1-for-1, the 2 Fire King Island, the 1 Strike or the 1 Immolation, the 2 Fire King Sanctuary, the 3 Kirin, the 3 Nibiru, the 3 Drolls, the 3 Crows, and the 3 Imperms to round out the main deck. Onto the extra deck, we have Typhon, Zeus, the Fire King, Downward Magician, Recital Starling, Access Code, Appaloosa, Heat Soul, Sunlight Wolf, which you can also make when you're doing the Snake Eyes plays, which I thought was pretty cool, but you also have the SP Little Knight, the Link Kuribo, the Salamangre Almirage, you also have the Dragostapelia, Garura, and the Mud Dragon to round out the deck profile. So for everyone who's made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching and for the 600 plus subs. Truly appreciate your support, and now that we've monetized the channel, giving us access to supers and memberships means that more awesome stuff is on the horizon. Get the channel membership, just click the description below, and there will be a link that takes you there. You'll also notice a free Discord link that I've made for us too. If you want to support me as a content creator, even if you can't donate supers or get a membership for the channel, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons help a lot too. For those wondering, I do plan on making updates to the channel as the support on the channel grows. Anyways, I hope to see you on the next one. It's Bones, signing out.